It is Wednesday. One more game for the Red Sox on the road, and a good thing. It's a 3:35 p.m. Eastern time, so many of you can watch it if you're at work, if you're home. I'll be working. I'll have the game on, though, as well. But it's nice that we can escape those late nights. Now, I didn't stay up the whole time. I watched the rest of the game this morning, and, man, it was fun. Connelly early delivered. That was something else. Welcome to Red Sox Now, presented by Fan Arch here on YouTube. Mike Antonellis, your host. Social channels at the Radio Mike. This is a Portland Sea Dogs throwback hat. Look at that. I got a whole collection of hats. Trying to, rotate them in. Love doing that. Why not? We were doing some different socks earlier. But we'll get the hats. Before we go any further, we got a ton of subscribers yesterday. So all of you who watch, guys and gals, thank you. Comments were terrific. We'll get to those. We get some good ones. Ones that I had to do some research about a Red Sox no-hitter. That these games go by, as a broadcaster, and you forget. It's weird. Sometimes we'll talk about a game a couple weeks ago, and I am like, okay, just refresh my memory. But this was a throwback that a fan had went to, and we will talk about that because the first Red Sox and only no-hitter was pretty cool, and I was on TV for that. So we'll get to a bunch of things. You see the sidebar. This is the way, standings, and, of course, your comments. So appreciate the subscriptions. We're close to 1,800. We want to get to 3,000 on the Red Sox last game of the year. I talked to a lot of people yesterday, and, I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, yes, I do. I will say it. Connelly early was somebody the Red Sox said no to for Merrill Kelly. Now, there were others involved. I don't know the others involved, but it's been reported that was one of the guys, and Kelly has been really good with the Rangers. I would have liked to have that veteran pitcher, right? Now, I don't know the others involved. See, that's the thing. We don't know if Tolley was part of that. We don't know who they were. That's what I don't like about all this deadline stuff, is that we don't know the other pieces. Like we found out this year that Meyer and Anthony were pieces last year when everyone was like, trade him, trade him, trade him. Oh, you would have been mad if you traded Anthony. So, okay. All right. You don't want to trade Connelly early, then let's see how this looks. You put it on Breslow. And he was pretty damn good last night against a good lineup. A's have been one of the better hitting clubs in the American League. Pitching has been atrocious. But what I noticed right away was a look. We're in a statistical age where all I see on social media is baseball savant stuff, and we don't watch as much anymore. And that's too bad. I wish people watched more. Anyone can just regurgitate. I could sit here and regurgitate stats for 25 minutes, but I don't do that. Broadcasters, we don't do that because we watch. We have to watch the game for a living and tell you things. You know what I mean? Like if I watch a game as a broadcaster for 9 innings and I can't tell you why a pitcher's good, I failed. That's what I've always tried to craft my profession, is being able to tell you why someone was good. Because anyone can go, yeah, he had good stuff. It got this many swings and misses. Well, tell me why. And I had to learn that. I learned that. I asked a lot of questions, and that's something I've worked on for nearly 30 years. I'm obviously in a different situation. When you're broadcasting games, you have more responsibility. I've always put a lot of pressure on myself that I better know what I'm talking about. And a lot of it has to do with here is Red Sox fans and the media and the other people, the Red Sox people that listen. I better know what I'm talking about. I've had times where coaches have heard things I said over the years. They're like, that's not right. I'm like, okay, well, tell me what. Help me. And they have. So I instantly like to see how a rookie looks. No deer in the headlights for early. None. Loved his mechanics. He's got a nice, easy delivery. but the stuff was off the charts. 17 swings and misses. As boring as it sounds, and you'll hear coaches at every level say this about pitchers, you have to have fastball command, especially in the big leagues. He threw that the most, the fastball 31%, the sinker 12%, so 43% of his pitchers are in the fastball family. His changeup was really good. The curveball was really good. So what I like about that, now he's a fastball, curveball, changeup, slider, sinker, and the data reads 2 sweepers, but I think that's wrong. I think the sweeper is still a curveball. So he's mainly a 5-pitch guy. But the separation of velocity is what you need. Josh Beckett learned this. He was throwing his changeup in the 90s. He was able to lower that in velocity. Early his fastball, 92, 94, topped out at 97. But his curveball, which he got 6 swings and misses, 12 of 18 for strikes, is a huge separator of the fastball, right? Because he throws it between 78 and 81. Now, most curveballs are slow. But that pitch off his fastball, and it all starts with that. But his secondary stuff was really sharp. And when you command 94 and you have the other stuff, the hitters have to think about it. But it all starts with the fastball command, because then they have to take that serious. Just this pitch sequence, his repertoire, his mechanics, the way he worked hitters, that didn't look like someone making his major league debut. The strikeout 11 on the road, again, another, and I still don't think we give Peyton Tolley enough credit. I don't care who the opponent was. First-year pitcher in the big leagues at Fenway on a Friday night in the middle of the pennant race when he was throwing 92 in college the year before. And he went out there and looked pretty damn good. Same thing, and I'll get the opponent. Oh, it was the A's. I don't care who the opponent is. It's a big league team. That's a good hitting lineup. You can say it's not. It is. I mean, it's statistically, and they've scored a lot of runs. There's a lot of good hitters in that lineup. Langoliers, Rooker, Kurtz, Jacob Wilson, Soderstrom. That's a good lineup. But the fact that the guy started the year in Double-A, he didn't look great in his first couple of outings in Triple-A because Alex Cora explained this yesterday. The strike zone gets smaller in Triple-A. Just how it is. Guys don't swing as much. It's harder. And then in his last start, he had 20 swings and misses, and he took that into last night. I wasn't sure how he would look. I wasn't sure if he's ready. People ask me. You just don't know what. We want this magic button now. Tolley was different because I told a lot of you this yesterday. He was making. We had ex-big leaguers we have in AAA. He was making those guys look silly. Like, his stuff was just ridiculous. It was such a separator. Everybody who saw Tolley in AAA said this guy is the best starter in AAA right now. In the International League, that is. We don't play the Pacific Coast League. So in Bayo, when he came through, it was the same. There was guys that come through and you're like, oh, okay, this a man amongst boys. That's what that looked. Early, yeah, didn't look the sharpest, but again, he's still young. So to expect him just to come up from Double-A, there's definitely going to be transition. And he transitioned quick. But just the look, the plan, the repertoire, the fastball command, huge. The way he mixed it up, he got, 17 swings and misses. The curveball, though, fastball, curveball, changeup, those 3 pitches were deadly. That induced 15 of his swings and misses. That's a pretty good 3 when you can command that. And he has good feel of those 3 pitches for someone young and was able to execute in the big leagues. Don Ossie had 11 strikeouts in his rookie debut, 1977. He got Nick Kurtz for his first strikeout. Big bases loaded situation in the 5th. I just love how he challenged the hitters. And it was cool to see his family there as well. That was something else. And again, I mean, this is, you got to step back from this for a minute. This is not something the Red Sox would have been able to accomplish just a few years ago. The fact that they've been able to dip this far is, trust me, 2019 when I was in Portland, ending the year, I told people that was one of the worst times for talent. There was nobody in the system with no arms. And that wasn't Dombrowski's fault. That was previous as well. They just had not drafted well. It's not just developing. You have to... I don't love when I hear that from people. You still have to find guys that have stuff. Like Trey Ball was not... That was not a guy... That was a high draft pick, but that was not someone that a lot of people thought was going to be good. And between Heim and Breslow here, I mean, let's not forget what Heim, Dobbins, Meyer, Anthony, Mydroff, Early, and Teal. And you got Crochet from 2 of those guys. So I think the philosophy between, because the game is going into this younger player generation, it really is, whether we like it or not. I think there's some still old school thinking here. You can get better through the drafts more now than ever. Early was taken a couple years ago. Tolley was taken last year. It's all over the big leagues. Everybody's doing that. Schlittler in New York. He's barely pitched professionally. We've seen a lot of guys. I mean, even Skeens, Chase Burns. It's going on more and more and more now where the draft is important in baseball. Right? More than ever. Guys are impacting you quicker. So it changes what you do. I know, by the way, the Red Sox did win 6-0. Romy Gonzalez, by the way, left with knee soreness. He should play Friday. He extended his hit streak to 12. He led off the game with a home run. Good foreshadowing of how that night was going to go. Rob Refsnyder hits the longest home run of the season, 463. I mean, they've really, I think, overachieved. I really do. That lineup won't wow a lot of people, and now they're playing with a ton of guys they did not forecast to be on this club, and they're dipping into a territory pitching-wise that they would have not been able to do even last year. It's gotten that much better over 1 year. Now, is it okay to be critical of the Dustin May thing? Yeah. Dustin May is really hurt, by the way. He did get an MRI. I didn't think that was real. I don't think he would have said that. So he did get an MRI. I do want to talk about the Vaughn Grissom thing. I see some people that are on here that are on social media, and I saw a lot of people bashing the Red Sox about Grissom, saying that he was a phantom. He is really hurt. All it took was asking me, or just if you Googled Vaughn Grissom, and I did this last night. He is on he's on the Woo Sox injured list. He's had a heel issue for a while, and everyone was screaming and yelling that they did wrong by him. And this is what I get really annoyed with, especially in my situation because I'm closer to it. With the internet, you can research this stuff easily. The Red Sox actually did amazing by him, and you're not even thinking about what they did last night. Everyone is mad that they called him up and put him on the 60-day injured list. Do you realize you get big league money? He's going to make $80,000 the rest of the year. and he gets credit for big league time. That's not what you do to someone you don't like. He has been on our injured list for a while. He played through, and he's been hurt since the All-Star break. Before that, our manager told us. He would sit randomly, and we're like, what's going on? He's got a foot issue. And Katie Morrison of Mass Live, she was calling out some people too, and I'm happy because, listen, I get the passionate fans, but don't yell at things that you don't truly know about yet. So that to me, as soon as I saw that roster move, I was like, wow, that is nice of the Red Sox to do that for him. Now they didn't have a ton of options, but they might have been able to do something else. But the fact that they basically paid $80,000 to have Connelly early go up. That's the difference between big markets and small markets. So the Red Sox did not do bad at all by that. Trust me. So good game for the Red Sox. Amazing. Connelly early, 5 innings, 11 strikeouts was just terrific. So if I had done this show over the years, I was screaming about the pitching. It was always lineup centric. It's always where we gravitate to. They never had enough arms. Think about this. This couple of weeks here, over a month period, you've had more success with Tolle and early. Now I know it's only one start, and it's one for each, right? You still weren't able to do that last year. You couldn't call anyone up last year just to make one start apiece. And going back years and years and years ago, the Pawtucket announcers would go, "Is there anyone down?" Nope, there's no one down here. They couldn't fill any needs. Now, you're going to like 5 to 6 injuries now where they're able to fill needs over and over. Right? Like the early in Tolle are up because of extreme situations. Yeah, and the May thing didn't work out. You know, that wasn't a good deal. Yeah, I mean, yeah. They've made a lot of good moves this year. They're going to be a playoff team. But yeah, that didn't work out. Should they have done more? It would have been nice, but I don't know. Again, like I'm not going to sit here and yell and scream about the trade deadline and still talk about the trade deadline in September when we don't know the pieces. Now, Merrill Kelly would have been nice. But what if early turns out to be really, really good? But now they have been able to be more pitching centric. I think Heim was trying to do that. It's a long game. Some of the guys he drafted early was one of them. And it's definitely Breslow's MO. But trust me, over the years, their failures were more on drafting, not developing. I know that doesn't make any sense to some, but the developing means, well, the guys that they took were good. They just didn't develop them. No. Trust me on this. I was there. I've been in the system since 2005. And I have many people that would say, oh, you know, they don't develop. I'm like, well, develop who? Right? I mean, if you don't have stuff, what do you want them to do? It was the drafting for me. And this is better in the long run to be built more. I know the lineup has its warts. I don't care. Because pitching keeps you in it longer. And if you didn't make that deal for Crochet and signing Chapman, just those two moves, you're not even in the trade deadline conversation. You're in. I really think if the Red Sox did not make the Crochet deal, they would have, because you got to think somebody would fill in for them, right? I could see them honestly having 72, 73 wins, maybe less, and being right where Tampa is. Just that one move. I don't want the deadline to be where my team is completed. A lot of the good teams didn't go crazy at the deadline. Dombrowski got his closer because his closer was suspended. But then it was it. He closed up shop, said, no, I'm not trading Andrew Painter. It's interesting when he doesn't do something, when nobody says anything. That's a pitching prospect that they could have traded. Maybe they could have got Merrill Kelly. They said no. I don't want, because I think that going to the deadline, having to make moves, I know what the response is going to be. Well, it enhances. I get that, but I don't want going to the deadline having to give up 3 or 4 pitching prospects to get a rental just to hope to win this year and then put yourself in a bond. That's not, build it up to the point where you're dictating more. They did that with position players for years. They were good at that, trading our Margot or, Blaze Jordan, having duplicates. But once you start getting in trading young pitching prospects, that can be hairy. Now, I think I would have done that deal. I like the big leaguers, but I don't want it to come down to the deadline. I think it's archaic thinking. It's what teams used to do. And again, if you didn't have all these injuries, maybe there's no way they trade for May. Maybe you use those resources for something else. And you didn't know how Tolley and Early were going to be, and I don't think they were ready to call them up at the time. But just these guys getting you through this, even if it's 1 or 2 starts, you absolutely need it. But going forward, if they are built more pitching-centric, they're going to have more success in the long run. You have to do that. Every team has done it. The Astros, look at who the Astros have gotten rid of position player-wise. Tucker, Bregman, and they're in first place. Now, I know that Seattle's right on their heels, but look at what they've done. They just keep finding guys. Yankees keep finding arms. Tigers. That's what everyone's doing, and no one... It's never an issue here. Like, I don't hear that as a main topic. It goes right to the lineup. Raphael is struggling. Yoshi, I'll take that if you got 4 to 5 studs in your rotation. And they have a chance to do that. I'm telling you, just go back and look at some of the teams late in the year. Go look at the September 2011 Red Sox. And we can do that on another show. The 2019, I looked at the AAA and AA roster, and you had no help in sight. And this isn't a Monday morning quarterback. We all said this. There's no help coming. For years, it was Lester, Buchholz, and Baio. Since 2005, you had like 3 legit starters that you were able to develop. That can't happen. And this is, better. And if Early might not work out, he might not be, we could be overreacting to 1 start. But that looked pretty damn good for 1 start. And again, if they put their foot down on him, they better be right. And they could be. So let's see it. It's a long game. I know we don't like it. I know we don't like the long game. I get it. But it is. Red Sox still have a 5-game lead over the Rangers. 9-7 for the Red Sox. They get 90 wins. I mean, if the Red Sox went, let's say if they went, well, we don't want to say 5-11, but if they did go 5-11, the Rangers would have to go 10-6 to tie them. Now, what's interesting that right now, Seattle is only a game behind Houston. And they've won 4 in a row. So Seattle could pass Houston. But the Red Sox will be in the playoffs. Kansas City's lost 3 in a row. I know Cleveland's now won 5 straight. But a 5-game lead with 16 to go is a lot. How about the Giants, by the way? They are 2 games out. It was all of that people posting the records of the Giants since they traded Devers. It's a long game, everyone. Just like I heard Rafaela will get MVP votes. He needs to pick it up, by the way. He needs to pick it up. And he's hitting 185 over his last 36. He definitely impacts the game defensively, but need a little more from him. I still don't like his at-bats. I still think he gets himself out more than pitchers get him. I really do. But defensively impacts the game. What a speedy outfield they had last night with Duran, Rafaela, and Eaton. That had to be the fastest. Let's get to your comments, by the way. Fantastic. Chad Hamilton, T3M, watching highlights of the game. I saw Veritek on the dugout. I love the staff. Good win, and Crochet looked good. This was a few nights ago. I wanted to tell Chad a funny story about Veritek. When I was in Portland, they have what's called roving instructors. They have a catcher, hitting, pitching. They come in, they work with the guys for a few days and leave. Veritek came in a lot, so I got a chance to, get to know him a little bit. And I asked him one day if you'd do an interview. This was before an 11 a.m. game. He said, absolutely. And I said, okay, just meet me in the dugout. So this was on an 11 o'clock game. There probably was 2,000 kids. And he comes walking out of the dugout, and the place is already packed. And he just got mobbed near one of the gates. And we got in the dugout. He said, thanks for doing that. Because it delayed. I cost him time to get ready. He was just kidding. But he's like, you realized me coming out was going to delay your interview because he had to stop and talk to. And I didn't even think of it. But great guy. And he's good. He's going to probably be there for a while. At Permiate, what happens to the players after the final week, talking about the Woo Sox? This was an excellent question. Excellent. Because not all of them, especially the AAA guys, some guys will go to Fort Myers in an emergency with the playoffs coming. So there'll be guys, and it can be non-40-man guys. And we won't know who that group is. They kind of do that incognito. But they'll be down there working out. They'll be playing in intra-squad games just to stay healthy. Some will play, in AA, they'll play fall ball. I don't think the Red Sox AAA, Worcester, they could have some fall ball. They'll play winter ball. They'll go home. They go home like right after the game. It's crazy. I have been on the air doing a post-game show. And this happened in Portland. I'd wrap up, go down to the clubhouse, and it's gone. It's empty. They fly out of there. But yeah, there's a lot of different things that guys do. But some will stay in Worcester for a little bit, might work out. But there'll be a handful of guys that will be down in Fort Myers just in case the Red Sox need them. At Phil Barter, I'm from Worcester. I left 8 years due to health. Sorry about that, Phil. I've been back. My first Worcester game was with 3 others. It was a hot night. They wanted to leave, but Sox had no hitter, and we stayed part of history. Michael Walker was part of that no hitter. I was on TV for this. He made a big league rehab, and it ended on a Devlin Granberg. I don't know if you know that name. Made a diving catch. He sold out and left, but it's kind of neat that a big league guy was part of that no hitter. Thank you for watching today. Awesome show. 3:35 today. The Red Sox will be at it. They have added Kyle Harrison. Peyton Tolley is going to start. He might go only a couple of innings. We'll see if they've added. They haven't officially added Harrison, but he's there. So we'll see if he gets activated. He might not. This would be weird. Again, Red Sox go for the sweep. They'd have a 4-2 trip before an off day, and then they take on the Yankees. Have yourself a great day, everybody, and go Sox.